Pageant fans, let me tell you something. Let us be glad, let us be thankful. Miss World is finally making a comeback, and it almost feels surreal to say that we are gonna have a Miss World pageant 2 years in a row. We are so back, and this is something that we have been waiting for the longest time, because if you've been following Miss World for the past couple of years, arguably since the beginning of the pandemic, that the consistency hasn't been there. And the quality of the production hasn't always been there, Puerto Rico. But for the very first time in the past couple of years, we will have a Miss World pageant approximately 1 year after the previous edition. This is progress. This is good. We are going in the right direction. Wouldn't you agree with that? If you ask me, I will say that the Miss World brand did suffer a little bit in terms of visibility, just overall likability from the fandom, and just how people would embrace the Miss World pageant precisely because of that lack of consistency. And although we all understand that, the pandemic was challenging for everyone, and even some competitions like Miss International ended up skipping 2 years in a row, everyone is pretty much back to normal and on schedule. So there was really no excuse for Miss World to keep taking some time off, right? So it's a good thing that we are back on track, and I'm personally very excited because I do want this pageant system to thrive and do well and all of those things. Now, I have very good news. Miss World 2025 will be held once again in India. And that's not so common in the pageant world, but I think that having Miss World in India once again is great news, because the last edition in Mumbai and Delhi, they actually got it very, very right. It was a great production. The girls had a great experience. The activities seemed to be nice. Everything was organized for the most part. Anyways, for the girls, it was organized. More on my part later. It's no secret to anyone that India has one of the most vibrant, beautiful, and thriving cultures in the world. Amazing food, landscapes, you name it. Although some people might complain that it's back-to-back in India, I personally think that this is a very positive thing for Miss World. Right now, rather than going all over the world, we just need consistency. We need to get back on track, and I am very thankful the Indian government and tourism boards and sponsors who are making this happen. Now, you might remember that last year, Miss World took place between New Delhi and Mumbai. This year, it's not the case. They're actually going to a new state, which is the state of Telangana. I've never been, I've never heard about it, if I'm being quite honest, but it has this reputation of being India's youngest state. So as you can imagine, the Miss World Festival will serve as a magnifying glass to showcase to the world that Telangana is very safe, that it has tourism, that it can be a global hotspot, it has international appeal. So all of those things I feel like are very positive for the state and also a win-win for Miss World. My only hope for this is that Telangana is also able to deliver a similar level of production and just overall excitement for the competition as last year in India, and hopefully even some more, because yes, there were some areas where they could have improved certain parts of the competition. Now let's have a little bit of a conversation around Miss World and the comeback and what it means and all of those things. As a pageant fan, I'm very happy that Miss World seems to be back on the consistent side of things and delivering a yearly edition, because as you know, Miss World is up there with the alpha pageants alongside Miss Universe, Miss International, Miss Earth. I don't know, I'm not gonna get into the conversation or who you consider to be alpha pageants or not, but there's no questions asked that Miss World is definitely up there. And with all of the recent changes in the pageant world, that everything seems to be all over the place. Miss Universe changing every 2 weeks, Miss Grand International acquiring Miss Universe Thailand, and then everyone's trying to push for business, and then Miss International is doing their thing, and then Miss Earth is also doing their thing, but people are bashing them for the production. Where is Miss World? Like, what's the spot of Miss World in today's day and age of beauty pageants and today's era? And something that I really admire about Miss World and that has grown in me over time, within the time that I have been covering pageants, there has only been 2 editions of Miss World. So it's not like I had extensive time to get to know this competition and fall in love with it. But one thing that I really do respect is the whole beauty with a purpose, humanitarian focus of the competition. When you look at it, nowadays it's becoming more and more rare to see title holders doing social work or anything that has to do with humanitarian. I personally cannot mention any recent humanitarian efforts from any of your favorite alpha queens. Okay, maybe I can for Miss Earth, But the others, honestly, I'm not so sure. And I think that one of the main reasons why our reigning Miss World has really stayed on my radar since last year, since she was crowned, is because the work has been consistent. She has traveled a lot to different places, and in every single one of those spots, there is at least some activity that is being held, something that is being done for the community that has to do with the beauty with a purpose or the humanitarian focus. I respect that. I also really like the direction that Miss World has been taken recently, where they are going a little bit more towards the entertainment business, you know, like the fashion world, and just showcasing the queen a little bit more under that light. And I also must admit that the queen that we currently have for Miss World is just everything. I mean, she's beautiful, she's kind, she can really walk, she can really carry herself, she can impose herself in a room full of people where she needs to speak publicly, or simply in a runway where she needs to walk in a fashion show. So the girl is super versatile, and I really hope that this is the direction that Miss World will continue to have in the upcoming years, hopefully in this upcoming edition. In terms of some of the things that I would like Miss World to improve on or work on, it will be perhaps the social media part of things, just like the online presence. I know, listen, Miss World is going to be celebrating their 72nd edition, okay? If you compare that to a person, Miss World is technically a senior citizen, right? The social media thing is not so handled or taken care of just yet, although there have been big improvements, we have to give it to them. But there are areas where we could embrace a little bit more of the new era of pageantry and social media and the internet, right? Another thing is that you cannot be relevant in today's day and age without making the shows accessible to everyone, whatever it is, whether it's a pre-pageant activity or finals, it should be readily available for everyone. Last year, they had a contract in India with one of the television channels, which is great. But then also it was exclusive in India also. So people online were struggling to have access to the live stream, and a lot of people were restreaming it illegally, which takes away eyes from the Miss World pageant. And it's just not a great thing for sponsors and overall credibility of the organization. So hopefully this year we can have an online stream, you know, on YouTube for free, accessible to one, which really kind of showcases the reach and the potential that the Miss World pageant still has even up until this day. Because again, I have no doubt about it. I think Miss World is up there and no one can take it down. But you know, you have to give the people what they need and what they want. I want them to make the competition more engaging for fans as well. And there have been, again, some efforts. They just launched a brand new app, which I just downloaded on my phone. Where is it? There it is, Miss World app. You know, there are ways that they're trying to make it more interactive, but I think the focus should really be on engaging the fans, giving them content, allowing us to get to know the girls, allowing us to see who they are, what they do. And that's the only way that us fans can really get invested in the competition. I also want Miss World, and this kind of like ties all of the previous points that I just mentioned, to understand the value of social media. I mean, social media or media overall. Last year, I had a very negative experience at Miss World in terms of covering the competition, because I decided to go to Miss World out of pocket, right? They didn't invite me. I didn't get a plane ticket, anything, tickets for the show. I paid out of pocket for my hotel. I paid out of pocket for my flight. I paid out of pocket for everything. The only thing that I asked from them was the press pass. I just needed the access so that I can actually cover the competition once I'm there. It took months negotiating with them and back and forth and being sent to one department and the other one. And then ultimately, the day before I flew to India, they messaged everyone saying that all the press passes and access was cancelled. Why would you do that? In today's day and age, you need the coverage, not just for the social media, but like newspapers, TV stations. If you don't allow people to talk about you, then you become invisible. And although last year's edition was pretty successful, it could have been so much better if you simply allow people to have access to you and to talk about you. So that's one of the things that I hope they will really improve this year. To be honest, I received a lot of messages since the announcement asking me if I will go to Miss World, and the truthful answer is, I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe. But I definitely don't want to go through the same situation again as last year. Like, I was literally staying in the same hotel as the candidates, and I couldn't talk to them. I couldn't approach them. I couldn't You don't want to be the creepy guy with the phone like from the sidelines taking, random photos. You want to have like proper access to people. That's how you treat media. There are very good chances though that I will be in India for Universal Women almost around the same time. So, it's not impossible that I will go to Miss World, but also we'll see if they're willing to collaborate. There have also been a lot of fans asking me for my predictions and my topics for Miss World, and that's something that we're gonna start soon. I will say like maybe next week we're gonna start putting that out. I was honestly just waiting for an announcement of Miss World even happening, because why would we get invested in the contestants and get all hyped up if we don't even have a date for the competition? But now that we have a realistic date, I think we can start getting into it. I already have very good idea of who my early favorites are for Miss World 2025. So if you have any bets, let me know in the comment section down below. Anyways, May 7th to May 31st is Miss World 2025. Let me know if you're excited for it. What are you most looking forward? And if you will be supporting the delegates. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you on the next one.